Right now we're going to take a look at aging or relicing some of these metal pieces. There's a couple different ways to do it, and everybody has their own ideas how it should be done. The main thing is to do, experiment and see what you like. But what I like to use, I've got in this little medicine bottle here, I've got some chemical mixed up that's used for etching electronic circuit boards. And you can buy this at any electronics store. I believe even a place like Radio Shack or any of the suppliers have it. And it's just called etchant solution. And I mix it about half and half with some water. And that will be applied with a disposable brush that you can get just about anywhere. Don't use any of your mom's paint brushes or anything like that, because you're going to get in trouble. But something you can throw away when you're done. And then here I've got some stuff, I guess it's known as Scotch-Brite. It's kind of like steel wool, but it doesn't leave all those little metallic shavings around that end up in your pickups. So something like this, you just want to kind of prep the metal surface and scuff the top of it off so the etching can take hold. And then if you want to get really crazy, I've got some stuff that came from a craft store. This one's called Sophisticated Finishes. It's called Rust Antiquing Solution. This was bought from a chain called Michael's here in California, but you can probably get it online. And they have different colors. You can get one that gives a green patina or a rust color or even black, depending on what you want to go with. I like the rust one. That's what was used on that earlier guitar, the black guitar. And the next thing you need is plenty of paper towels around so you don't make a mess, because this stuff can get stains, and you want some to protect your eyes with, some eye protection in case you splatter it up. It's a good idea to wear rubber gloves. I don't, because I don't have any today, but you should. So let's take a look and get started here with a piece of one of these tuners. Okay, now we're really going to have some fun. We're going to take this aging process to this metal a step further, and this is the stuff I mentioned earlier that you can buy at a craft store in different patinas. You can turn it green and get that verdigris, or you can do a rusting solution or blackening. I like the rust stuff because it looks like good old-fashioned rust. Same thing, you want to start out with a clean brush, another disposable brush of some sort, and you can, let's do one of these screw heads first. Do it all at one time. You get that wet and just kind of paint it on there in the areas that are going to be exposed. It's a good idea just to do the exposed areas, because then if you ever take it apart later, you can see that there's just rust on the exposed areas, which would happen naturally with age. And we'll lay it on this paper towel again, because you don't want to have it soaking through on your good tabletop or your workbench. Do a couple of these together to speed things up. You just kind of paint it on there and then lay it down. Let's do this tuner here. The tuner is always the hardest one to do because the plating's so heavy on there, but we scratched the surface with that earlier etching solution. So we're going to put this on here. And it's okay to use too much, because this is like real rust. You can wipe it off. So once you get done with it, if you think you went too far, you can kind of clean it off with some of the Scotch-Brite or the steel wool, or even a cloth or a wire brush, whatever you want to kind of take it down and give it that cleaned up look. Let's do this neck plate next. That's scratched up real nice, so it should this should take real well. It's real important not to mix these. Make sure that the other solution is completely cleaned off and dry before you start with this stuff. Okay, we got some of that on here. What I like to do is leave it on the paper towel and get it kind of soaked in there, and then it's making contact with the chemical still. Put a little on that one. These are the string trees. I didn't show that earlier, but you can see they're nice and dull looking now. They were also very shiny to begin with. So we'll just do the top of the screw and the string tree itself. This guitar had two of them. You can go back over again, get everything kind of wet. This rusting stuff works pretty quick. In fact, I'm going to show you in just a second. I'll pick up this tuner, and the places where we exposed it down to the bare metal and the actual plating was removed, it's working already. Okay, right here you can see it on the top of that tuner. You can see a discoloration starting to happen. This will make it look like it's been in the ocean for about a month. Just keep going back over it and adding some more. And then depending how long you let it sit, that's the degree of discoloration you're going to get. Okay, we'll let this sit a few minutes and I'll show it to you again after it's done. Okay, here we are. This is 15 minutes later after applying the rusty solution. You can kind of see what's happened here. It's kind of green around the edges and brown in the middle. The cool thing about this is if you think it's too much, you can wipe it off, or you can leave it on overnight and get a real crusty look. There's that. Look at that tuner screw there. That's just the way they look from touching, from the sweat from your fingers. And the top of this post, you can see that didn't have much plating, so that took it really well. That's really nice. And then here we wore through some of the plating on the very top surface with that etchant solution, and that took really well there. It turned kind of a golden color underneath. And then we've got the little string guys here, nice and rusty on the top, kind of a blackish on there, so that's nice. And this guy here just turned kind of a dullish green. It looks like almost like those were nickel plated rather than chrome plated the way it turned. They looked really nice. That looks good. You can see the edges where the edges were knocked. It took a little more. And then we've got these 4 screws here. You can see nice rust hints on there. That looks pretty good. So once you get that mounted in here like so, it's going to give you that kind of a look. So we'll continue doing this with the rest of the metal hardware on the guitar.